Hi, and welcome to This Sustainable Life Untethered, the place where we explore mind, body, and nature and the things that hold you back from enjoying them. I am your host, Alison, and today I have a special festive bonus episode for you. It's not the usual podcast style interview with a guest or a solo episode where I probably share a bit too much, but instead it's more of a relaxed conversation. And because it is the season of festiveness, it's a Christmas conversation, if you will, with Joshua Spodek, who you may remember from episode 1 and 2 of this podcast. Josh is a speaker, author, podcaster, professor, and really an absolute role model when it comes to sustainability. He is one of the reasons why I am here now doing this podcast and starting my own sustainability journey. Because it is the season for giving, we talk about stuff. Buying gifts, receiving gifts, getting rid of things that you have once bought and enjoyed, but now can't wait to get out of your house. The emotions underlying consumption and how we could have a meaningful, joyful, and sustainable Christmas. You'll have to forgive me as there is a few technical issues, which means that the beginning and end bits got off. So we kind of just launched straight into it and finish a bit abruptly. But I think there's still a good conversational, meaty middle that I really hope you enjoy. So Merry Christmas all. And without further ado, I hope you enjoy this festive conversation with Joshua Spodek. Yeah, I genuinely didn't know plastics were made of fossil fuels. That's it. And you just go around the world thinking like you go to IKEA and you think, oh, I need the chair, I need the table, whatever. And I don't even think that the chair and the table comes from the world, comes from rainforests, comes from nature, and that there is a finite amount, even though it looks like there's infinite things that you could possibly buy. Actually, it's, limited based on the number of trees in the forest and the manufacturing, and it is. We just don't think about it, or I didn't.
The companies are very happy for people not to know and not to care, both where it comes from and where it goes to afterward. This morning I was looking outside my window as I was doing my calisthenics and seeing this stream of people walking from the coffee shop, all carrying disposable coffee cups. I mean, it's like before 9 a.m. they're mostly dressed in, I don't think they're, I mean, it's just, we had a big snow, so it's really cold. So all super dressed up and not dressed up, covered up. I'm thinking that's a lot of bundling up to go out and get coffee when you can make it at home.
Mm.
And where do they think the coffee cup goes? Because they can't think it goes into a landfill, because when you multiply by billions of people, it doesn't go away, not in a human lifetime. So where do they think? I think they just don't think of where it goes.
Yeah.
Or think someone will fix it.
Yeah. It's someone's job to do it. I'm keeping these people in jobs. Yeah. I was one of those people. It wouldn't even cross my mind. Do you know what? I would actually buy like a reusable coffee cup because it looks pretty. And I'm like, ooh, that's in line with my personality, which is a ridiculous reason to buy something rather than the actual functional use, which was I will bring it with me when I go and have coffee. Like I just do not think.
I can ask you what I've been saying. I presume that a lot of people seem to treat reusable coffee mugs as disposable. They use them for a little while, they lose them because there's so many, especially when I was teaching at NYU. I'd walk in a classroom and there's like 5 metal coffee cups left there that I presume no one's going to come back for. When I go to a thrift shop, because I get all my clothes at thrift stores, as you do too, or not, I don't know if all of them, but I know that you do a lot.
More, yeah.
And I don't know about there, but here, thrift stores are filled with mugs and reusable coffee cups, and they all have brand logos on them from some company. Was like, oh, here, we'll give away this thing, and it's eco-friendly, so people, it'll make us look good. And everyone knows that everyone has way too many bags at home. Whatever bags everyone has at home, it's enough to last the rest of their lifetimes. And the rest end up in thrift stores or trash. And so now I can check with you. People just don't think about it. They're just like, well, whatever. Like when they accept it, they think, oh yes, I'm being eco. And then when they get rid of it, they think, I don't know what they think.
I don't know. I think like, well, it's not thinking, is it? It's, oh, I prefer something else. This better meets my needs, or this better fits in line with my tastes and personality, or it's a new, here we go, it's a new term at university and I fancy a change, and it's autumn and I know Christmas is coming up, so I'm going to get a nice reusable Christmas style mug, and that's going to make me feel really happy and enjoyable. And as for the other ones that I've had, I don't know, just they'll go somewhere.
Did I ever tell you the podcast episode I want to do about jobs? It's on my list of ones to do soon.
No.
Let's see, how does it begin? I gotta, I'll do the best I can right off the bat. Okay, so near me there's a store, but they're all over, and it sells like Pikachu stuff, like just stuffed little things that are little it's little things that people give to someone and like, I thought of you today.
Mm-hmm.
A little kind of tapping into the emotion that you were just describing. Now, I believe that these things lead to about 10 seconds of a semi-forced smile, followed by going to the landfill until it breaks down 500 years, 1,000 years from now. It doesn't really make life any better, because you can achieve more than a forced smile through, I don't know, a hug or saying something more meaningful, just listening to someone for a bit. So I think that these things are worse than nothing in terms of what they bring to the world. And they pollute. I mean, they're worse than nothing in terms of the feeling that they create, and then they pollute. So I think that the world would be a better place if the factory where they make these things was just simply right next to a landfill, and the conveyor belt just took the stuff right in and dumped it right into the landfill. And instead people, hugged each other, or I guess in the pandemic, I don't know, like spoke to each other and looked each other in the eyes and learned social emotional skills to connect more. Now you might say, but wait a minute, the economy, it depends on buying and selling stuff. Someone shipped the stuff across the ocean and a truck delivered it here. So if we want to keep those people in, it's still better to dump the stuff into the landfill. At least then less of it will get into the ocean. By the way, I hope people get here that the point is that this is absurd. But
Yeah.
it's absurd,
Yeah.
but actually still a better world. If you, in a less polluted world with just as much opportunity and jobs. So now you say, wait, but there's people, the people with the boats shipping across the ocean, now they're out of a job. The people driving the trucks are out of a job. Okay, so we have the factory still with a conveyor belt, just dumping stuff straight into the landfill. Now we got someone in a truck driving around in circles around the factory, and then nearby have a boat in the water and have that boat going around in circles. And so now you pay the driver and you pay the boat pilot, captain.
For nothing, for no reason.
Now you're back to where you were before. You have actually a better world in terms of there's more happiness and more human connection, because instead of having this little stuffed toy, people are talking to each other and spending time together and doing things together. And instead of some of it making its way into the ocean or not making it to a landfill and degrading out and, by the side of the road somewhere, it's getting into a landfill and being properly taken care of. Everyone's got a job. Everyone's got the same job they did before. Now, obviously this is crazy, but it's actually a better world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm not convinced that saying, but what about the jobs, is so coherent a rebuttal, because that way we protect the jobs. I think it would be better just not to just turn the factory off, leave the truck in the garage, leave the boat in the dock. At the very least, just people pay each other just to sit around would be still better.
Best job ever.
Well, no one likes to sit around. I think that now getting into my book Initiative, the last chapter is about, once you know what you like to do and you know how to find out what other people want in life, or how to talk to people so that they share their problems with you, especially around areas that are interesting to you, then you find out how to do things to help people. And then you can have, like in New York in the pandemic, Broadway is off. There are no Broadway shows happening right now, no off-Broadway, none of them. A lot of people say, well, now the actors are all out of work. If you know how to take initiative to help solve people's problems so that they reward you, yes, there's a big shift. It's a big problem. I don't want to take away that when people were expecting an income and to buy food with that income and pay their rent with that income, and suddenly it's all up in the air. That's a problem. However, in the long term, if you know how to take initiative so you know how to help people, so they reward you for it. Drama has been around for tens of thousands of years. I think some of the oldest archaeological things, like the Odeons in ancient Greece, Odeon from ode, spoken word, like the amphitheaters are some of the oldest structures we have of people performing arts and speaking to an audience. So right now, Zoom, I guess, is probably making a lot of money and actors aren't, but I can guarantee that sometime in the future, Zoom will be gone and drama will still be around, which tells me that people value a human connection that I think, I don't know exactly the solution, but if actors know how to create, do what my book Initiative talks about, and I'm not trying to sell books here, but if the skills are available for people to do, then they'll find that they can solve problems, they can earn a living, they can be productive units in society. Or, that's not the right way to put it. They can be employed. And we've gotten to a state in the world where when I was a kid, people thought of, maybe this is just kid talk, but people imagine a magic utopia in the future where robots could do all the work and people could just enjoy themselves. But now we're afraid that if robots do the work, everyone will be out of work and everything will fall apart. How did it happen that a future that used to be better, now people fear?
Yeah.
I think people have lost the sense of, or maybe never had the sense of taking initiative and learning how to help other people. An economy based on people serving each other could work very well. It could serve the functions of getting food and shelter and love and caring and what we all need from each other to get that around. And then if robots come and can do all the, cleaning toilets for us, great.
Yeah, it's that meaningful service, isn't it? And I guess like what your point is that the little Pikachu is not part of that meaningful service. Anything related to its production, manufacturing, delivery, removal, whatever, is not meaningful service. And are those people who are involved in that, could they be more fulfilled doing other things that are less negatively impacting the environment? Do you think it's the thing around like the hidden costs, in that it's like we are overvaluing the moment of giving it as a gift, no matter how much joy or lack of joy it brings, even if it's just a 10-second, oh, thank you, versus everything that it takes to bring that toy into creation and all the negative environmental impacts? Is it because that it's hidden that we overvalue the bit that we can see?
I would go, yes, I think that if people knew, for me, seeing the story of plastic, I knew a lot about plastic before that, but then seeing that changed because it was way beyond what I thought. And it was hard for me seeing that not to think it's not going to be long before that's my neighborhood. Because if we keep producing all that plastic, there's only so much third world to fill up before it starts not making it, before it doesn't go there either and just stays here, which is actually what we should have done in the first place. If it's our mess, we should keep it. Which is why I value so much taking so long to fill up a load of garbage, because I'm living with my garbage more. And I really don't like to take my garbage out. So to me, it goes a step earlier. There's the material stuff and somewhere before you get offered a product for sale and with the costs hidden, someone decided to make something and hide the cost. And also hide that it's not really necessary. So little plush toys are one thing. I think of Doof as a bigger example, and someone's making some bag of chips that they know is unhealthy. They know is designed to make you crave it. I guess by now they've lost the sense that how delicious things taste when you stop overloading your taste buds. So for me, it's a cultural, because I look at things from a leadership perspective. It's what are the emotions? What are the motivations? How are we treating each other? What are we thinking and planning when we do these things? Because someone's choosing to make something that isn't really valuable.
And we're in the season of Christmas now where, if anything, this is the time where the most exchanges of these non-value things happen. Like, it's absolutely expected. In fact, this year I've said, partly because of our personal situation and Neil deciding to give up his job and we're trying to save money, etc., I've said to everyone, don't give me anything. I don't want anything. Don't buy me anything. I won't get you anything. And it's been really liberating to not have to think, like, what piece of crap am I going to buy them? And my friend bought me something and she texted me and said, oh, I'm so sorry, I had to buy it for you. And then I was like, how dare you? Now I have to think, what is it you want? What would be nice? What would be something I could give you? What's a reasonable price? When am I going to buy? Like, it just was all this unnecessary. Like, I really obviously appreciate that she thought of me and did something nice. But like you say, it doesn't have to come with the cost of buying me something that I don't know what it is. It's under our Christmas tree now. And I'll make a note how long it takes me to like use it and or dispose of it.
Now you sound like me.
Now I feel like the Christmas Grinch, but it is, yeah, I absolutely do get where you're coming from. And it just,
well, you say Grinch on the material giving and receiving. I suspect that it doesn't end just because you're not exchanging material things. I'm guessing that doesn't mean not exchanging something that you value.
Well, we met each other and had like a nice Christmas, like catch up and, you know, cake and little festive time. So in exchanging time that I value, yes, that's the nicest thing for me, to have that time with her.
That to me is, life is more about that. I'd rather have my gravestone say he spent time with people he cared about than he gave and received tchotchkes with friends. It doesn't, it's just awkward now. Has anyone gotten me something really touching, really meaningful? I don't think so. Because the less I have, I'd rather someone took something of mine.
I like that idea.
I'm looking over the corner over there where I have some skis. I'm not going to throw them away. I'm going to put it on Craigslist and probably maybe offer them for free. So it takes time to take a picture of them and put them on Craigslist. And every time I have time, I'm spending time writing my book. And then I have a couple, I now have 4 drying racks for clothing because I don't use a dryer. I just put them on the clothing rack. And one of them I bought off of Craigslist used. 3 of them, just walking around my neighborhood, people were throwing out perfectly good ones and I just took them home. And I just can't bear to see something. I mean, they're not going to go bad. So I'll just keep them here until I put them on Craigslist and then give them away for free.
You've got 4 drying racks and you're one person with like the smallest number of clothes.
Yeah. And then I got I mean, I have a pile over there of the stuff that is to go, actually 2 piles of stuff that's going to go to Craigslist to go either used or maybe I'll make some money off of them. So there's a few books that I found that like people throwing away. And I thought, these books I think are enough value that people, if I put them up, someone will take them for free. And I could take them to a thrift store, but I know that Goodwill throws these things away if people don't get them. So I'd rather at least try to put it up. And if someone takes it for free, then at least I know it'll get one more reading out of it before they throw it away. And then I got a kettlebell that originally was valuable for me, but now my muscles are, I'm so strong that it's too light for me. Then I got all these things that I wish I hadn't got. Well, it's not that I wish I hadn't gotten them in the first place, but I'd rather someone come and took them. Oh my God, wait, have I told you about the toothbrushes?
No.
Okay. This is a story. Sorry if I'm going on too long.
No.
And stop me if I do.
Okay.
When you reduce stuff and talk to people about it, I predict that you will hear a lot of, I don't know what to do about toothbrushes.
Right.
It's toothbrushes and toilet paper are the big things of like, I don't know what to do about this. So someone who gets takeout 2 or 3 times a week will say, I don't know what to do about toothbrushes. So each time they get takeout, it's like 10 toothbrushes or 20 toothbrushes worth of plastic. But they don't look at that because they don't want to stop that. They look at the toothbrush and they don't act. They think, oh, I better solve that toothbrush issue. What do I do about that? Meanwhile, they don't change anything about their life. So it's like a nice way to busy their mind. At least it feels that way for me. I'm sure you saw my TEDx talk where I talked about avoiding packaged food. I was like, when I felt guilty, I would be like, oh, busy my mind with like trying to figure it out. And then once my mind was busy with these other thoughts and the feelings of guilt and helplessness went away, then I'd be like, oh, problem solved. Because the problem was how I felt, not the packaging.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm projecting onto them my motivations. In any case, for whatever reason, I had a ton of toothbrushes. I mean, my brother-in-law is a dentist or maxillofacial surgeon. And I don't know, I just would pick up toothbrushes every time I was at the dentist. So I'm on my last toothbrush now. And so I haven't had to solve the toothbrush problem because I'm just using up these old ones.
Right.
So I go on Craigslist and I'd look up toothbrushes. And someone in Brooklyn is posting free toothbrushes. So I'm like, that's interesting. What's this all about? So she somehow is, I don't know the deal. Somehow she's got a bunch of extra toothbrushes.
New, not used.
Right. In fact, they're sealed.
Okay.
And I go to online and plug in the maps, and it's an hour bike ride from here. And at first I think, I'm not going to ride an hour for free toothbrushes. And I think, wait a minute, I do cardio once every 5 days. So I could go jogging, I could row on my rowing machine, or I could ride out to Brooklyn. And it's a neighborhood I've never been to. So I'm like, this is great. I'm going to go ride out there. So it's 2 hours, right? An hour there, an hour back. Mostly flat. And I was going to do it on a cardio day, but then she postponed. So I did it on a different day. And it happened to be a really beautiful day. And then like after the next day, it got super cold and it's been cold since, and it'll probably be cold until, I don't know, March. So I was like, oh, it really worked out well. Wait, we got to put the video back on. Hold on.
Okay.
If you can hear me, I'm walking over to get this bag.
I'm so curious for this. Fingers crossed my internet's going to hold up.
Let's see. Okay. This, I don't know if you can see it, this is my bag that when I go shopping, this is the bag that I bring. So I bought it probably in the 90s. People are like, oh, they're like, I'm going to buy a new bag to replace so I don't have to get disposables. I'm like, you have enough bags. But I don't say it, I just think that. So this is like really old, but it works really well. Okay. Here are the toothbrush things.
Okay.
So this is like something that was supposed to be put, I don't know if you can see the top here. I think this is supposed to be hung on a sales rack thing in a store. And it's kind of perforated between each toothbrush. So I guess people would buy one. Now, if you look at it, I don't know this brand name. It's like,
never heard of it.
Looks like some Eastern European weird thing. But if you look at like the color printing is all off. Like it's poorly done.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the back, it's like Yangzhou something. So on the front, it looks Russian. On the back, it looks Chinese. so I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know. She seemed Eastern European. We spoke for a bit when I was out there in Brooklyn. Okay. Why do I have to show you this? Because how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So 10 in here. Look inside my bag. I don't know if you can see, like I've got, I believe I have 150 toothbrushes now.
Oh my God.
And so now I have to go on and like, I got to get 150 friends now to give them all toothbrush. I mean, I'll keep 10 because that'll last me for years. And then just share the wealth with other people. And I live in a world of abundance.
Every time someone emails you now, what do I do about my toothbrush? You can be like, here, I have enclosed this in my response.
Yeah. So that's why when I say like, I'd rather someone come and took something from me, that would be a better gift.
I can see like Marie Kondo kind of piggybacking onto that idea, like instead of giving gifts for Christmas, just other people taking things from you that don't spark joy, just making your house more minimal and exciting and lovely.
Yeah. I mean, I get rid of stuff, and before I get rid of it, I'm like sweating. But if I'm gonna miss it, what happens if it's gone? And then I get rid of it. I'm like, I don't even remember, but I do see the freedom, or I feel the freedom, and I see the extra space.
Yeah, it's weird actually, because you like everything. So Neil and I, we frequently do a big clear out, and I'm surprised because everything that we have in the house, we have to buy. It has to come in somehow through money, through decision, through whatever. Yet we can get to a point where we're like, get rid of this stuff. I need it away from me. I don't want it anymore. It actually is making me feel stressed to have so much stuff. Like it's weird to have such strong emotions, you know, about, oh, I want to buy. At some point we wanted to buy it. It was going to fill a need. It was going to be some emotion. And now it's like this disposable thing. I don't want it. And having it away from me is going to be nicer.
Have you reached the stage where you feel that when you're getting the thing? That's the big shift, is when you realize the challenge is not getting in the first place, despite living in a world that's trying to get you to get stuff.
To be honest, not yet, but we are much better along that path because of the added constraint that we will have around going down to one salary between the two of us. So both of us are really thinking now about everything we spend, like, do we actually need it? Is it really worth it? And that's why I said, you know, about the Christmas presents and stuff, because we do have that extra constraint that maybe we didn't necessarily have before. We might be more willing to have spent a bit of money to feel a certain way. And actually, one thing about lockdown that's been really good for me personally is I always had this idea of wanting to go to like another place, like, oh, let's go and do a few hours work in a cafe and have a coffee and a cake and enjoy that and spend money, and just, you know, that feeling of like doing something that you have to do but pairing it with something that's really enjoyable. And because we are in a situation in the UK where I can't do that, everything that's open is just for takeaway only. So many times I've felt that like urge to do it and not been able to. It's really interesting to then have to like self-regulate and be like, oh, I guess I'll just continue sitting at home then. And I wonder, when things do open, will I still have that same like desire? Will there still be that same behavior pattern? Or will I be like, oh no, I can ride out that feeling and get whatever desire I'm seeking through what I'm doing at home?
Yeah, I suspect that if it really sticks, then say you have tons of money, still also to feel like the to resist buying things, not because of out of money. For me, the sense of stewardship is much greater when I'm doing something in service of others, especially people who are helpless, to defend themselves against suffering, especially when I would cause it. Like, who was I was talking to someone who they couldn't do something. They're like, I'm feeling down, and so I can't do X. I'm thinking, you know, something sustainable. I'm like, doing it gives me energy. Thinking of helping someone helpless to me, most of my life, I worked in soup kitchens for years in college and beyond, and I would volunteer for lots of different things. And those motivated me. But now it's something, I mean, the sense of service to others is it's maybe the greatest human emotion. I mean, it's really up there. When people talk about feeling a sense of oneness, or parents talk about helping their children, when I hear parents like, I take a bullet for my kid, I'm like, how about not polluting? And man, I got to tell a joke. It's such a, if Neil's stopping being a lecturer, then this might be one he can now tell that he couldn't tell before.
Okay.
It's I think it's clean enough. So a professor sitting it's a male professor, female student. So the male professor sitting there in his office, and it's office hours. So a knock on the door, yes, and it's the hot girl from his class. And she walks in and closes the door behind her and says, the final's coming up. And he goes, yeah. And she goes, I'd really like to get a good grade in this class. I'd like to pass. And he goes, okay. And she goes, I would do anything to get a good grade in this class. And he goes, anything? And she goes, I would do anything. And he says, would you study?
She's like, no, I wanted to.
So didn't make that joke up.
I like that.
Apropos of nothing.
I like that.
But what made me think of it was like, I would do anything for my kids. Would you not pollute? Well, maybe not that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess like, I get what you're saying, and maybe I will start to feel that more acutely soon, that sense of service. But for now, if the difference is between like, if the only reason I'm doing it is a selfish reason or more self-interested reason, then at least that's still it being done.
Could you clarify that?
So say, for example, if we're not buying stuff because I want to save money, even though at the moment it's more of a self-interested reason rather than a selfless reason, at least I'm not buying more. Like that's the first step, right? Like
if it gives you practice, if it gives you experience, it then takes self-leadership in my experience or leadership of others to say, this is, what's the lesson here? What do I learn? How do I apply this in the future? Because a lot of people, they just buy stuff, they get rid of it, they buy more, they get rid of it, they buy more, they get rid of it. Like, how many times do you have to do this cycle before you pick up on the pattern?
And I think it is really emotional. It's that you're seeking something, you want something in your life, you think it will be better, you think it will make you look better if you have a cup that better matches your personality, if you have clothes that make you look a certain way, if you like, it's all about like, it's so emotional. Buying is so emotional, and just to be more content with your emotions and that emotional control and restraint.
So what emotions is it acting on?
When you buy stuff, when I buy stuff, so say for example, it would be like, I want that because I think it's, what's the emotion? It's a perception that that thing will give you joy.
Is it, I think it might be that if you don't get it, you'll feel miserable, or you'll fear,
There is a FOMO. There is like that's like the two sides of the coin, isn't it? Oh, if I get it, I'll be happy and it will make me feel better. And if I don't get it, then I'll just be thinking about it all the time and wondering, and I'll miss out.
In my experience, and I've never lived anyone else's life, it's the other one that really gets me. It's, if I don't get it, I might not be able to get it again. I'm pretty happy. It's not like I've ever seen something that would really change anything materially or substantively, meaningfully. That's why they, last chance, the sales limited time only. That's craving. I mean, is the emotion to me. It's, I can't speak for anybody else, but from my experience, it's craving. That the way I put it is, maybe it would make me happy, but pick your luminary from a long time ago. Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu, Confucius, Aristotle. If they're alive today, I just can't imagine Buddha saying, I thought I knew happiness, but now that I got the latest iPhone, now I know true happiness. I think if Jesus were alive today, he would probably say, oh, more distraction. I know what brings meaning in life and beyond. And life was distracting then. Life is distracting now. And each one will have their own method of nirvana or joy or bliss or whatever. And I think it usually is a measure of self-awareness and self-mastery, service to others, family, community, mindfulness. And all these things, I just don't see a plush Pikachu as fitting into that.
Imagine Buddha with just Pikachu like in front of him,
Yeah.
like, nah, you thought I was enlightened before.
Yeah. Like Nirvana plus.
Gotta catch them all. He's going around like Pokemon Go with this phone. We got Buddha all wrong.
Gotta catch them all is pure craving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you were asking before about hiding the costs, and I think that we have an economy. There's certainly buying and selling fresh fruits and vegetables, and renting homes and protection from the elements, and things that are I consider necessities of life. But there's a lot of craving that we know if we poke people in just the right way, they'll respond in that way. So the system is built on, oh, there's a little Pikachu thing. Ah, my wife, my son, my daughter, my husband will feel, oh, they'll know that I thought of them. It's backwards. I'd rather get a shoulder massage than a Pikachu.
Oh yeah, that's actually, an amazing gift. Any massage. Do you think that if then we had, so on the label of the product, we had the hidden costs written out. So it was the price, I don't know, $10. And then it said the cost in carbon emissions, whatever the environmental things could be meaningfully estimated as. Do you think that would change people's behavior or give them a second to pause and think?
I think so. I mean, I think it would be like cigarette warnings, which if done effectively, if done poorly, they can actually drive more sales. If done effectively, there's like campaigns to say cigarettes are bad for you, but they're done in such a way that they actually, like I'm sure the cigarette companies are like, oh, this is great. You want us to give a message to teens? We'll take care of that. And then they figured out, let's put a message to teens. So it was like superficially against cigarettes, but subliminally or subconsciously making them think about cigarettes. So it could be done counterproductively. I still think of it as a management technique, which is to say it's working with carrots and sticks, measurable incentives. It's not systemic change. It's not working with the underlying emotions and images and beliefs. So or tactical, not strategic. Strategic would be motivating what would be strategic? I haven't thought about this area, but yeah, putting it to the educational system, something about for people to do projects based on experiencing values that are different than craving. Yeah, and like put home ec and shop and have a class in gardening in school, maybe replacing some of the more detailed ones about, some factual recall that people aren't going to use outside of, like in the US, we have to learn all 50 state capitals. It's not that necessary to know the capital of Nebraska, Lincoln. Maybe that could be replaced with gardening.
Yeah.
And I think, did I ever tell you about, there's this guy, Tony Hillary, who started this thing called Harlem Grown. There's a whole backstory, but he volunteered at some school, maybe middle school, kids around 10 years old, plus or minus 5 years. He volunteered there, and there was across the street from a school, an empty lot, overgrown with plants and like car tires, broken washing machines, things like that. He sends off to the school, to the city, can I do something with that space? Months later, they were back and say, yeah, you can do it. And he wasn't really sure what to do. He gets the kids to help him clear the lot out. And he makes what's now called Harlem Grown. It's a farm, an urban garden. So he has the kids come over and help build potting. He would get potting soil and build the wooden things to hold the potting soil, the planters. One day, it's ready to plant. So he gets the kids and he brings them in and he says, I got some chard seeds. So each of you plant a chard plant. So we're going to put the seed in the ground, cover it up, water it. So they put it in, cover it up, water it, and the kids go, where's the chard? He goes, well, it takes time to grow. So they didn't know that, right? This is something they just didn't know. They had no idea.
Right. You just go to the supermarket. There it is all the time. Buy it anytime you like.
You're about to hear not even that.
Okay.
So I don't know, a month later, the chard has grown and he gives the chard to the kids to take home. By the way, this garden's still going. I've gone up, I met him, and it's a wonderful place. And they've taken over a lot down the block. There was also an empty lot. This one they filled with this big hydroponics thing that's growing tons of vegetables. None of them will they sell. It's all given away. And within probably half a mile of that place, there's only doof being sold. There's no vegetables available. And they're meanwhile giving the stuff away. And I think on their board, I think maybe Ed Norton, Keanu Reeves. So it's getting like some serious support. He gives the chard so back to when the chard grows, he gives the kids the chard and take it home, eat it, have it with your family. They come back in the next day, he goes, how was the chard? They say, our moms threw it out. What? They didn't know what to do with it. They had no idea what it was. So at least one generation has been lost, that the parents don't know what to do. Hopefully maybe the grandparents would know, but maybe not. Who knows how far back it goes. So it's one thing to tell people this doof isn't healthy, or this product has an added cost of someone's got to clean up the pollution. It's another thing to give people an experience of planting chard and learning how to cook the chard. That's why I go up to the Bronx to do cooking demonstrations, so that I want to drive up demand. If you don't know how to do it, then what can you do except go buy doof?
Yeah, there is no alternative if you don't have the skills or knowledge.
Yeah. So if the little plush Pikachu just says, okay, you're paying $5 for this, but actually it's $10, but we don't have to account for those other costs. And people are like, all right, well, okay, great. I got a $5 discount. They might feel. Whereas if they learned, I don't know if it's for a spouse, the value of a shoulder rub, or cooking dinner together, or I don't know, the things that people like to do that are more psychic or mental, emotionally rewarding, rather than just trinkets.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like still fulfill some kind of emotional need or whatever you're hoping to get as a result of giving. You can still experience that in another way.
I think I would say more so, because now the material thing is not, people think it's communicating something. I think it's distracting from something. I mean, what if you simply said, I thought about you earlier today? I mean, I guess maybe that would get old after a while if you said it every single day. But I mean, so is giving a plush toy. Actually, with me, if people came over, if they just bought me some fresh fruit, that would be great. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because when people come over for my famous no packaging vegan stew, there's an email that I send out. It's not so much now because of the pandemic, but I send this email to people that says, it took me a long time to write it. Something like, I know that when people come over, that you feel a sense of obligation to bring something, but I try to avoid packaging. So if you don't bring anything, that's absolutely fine with me, no problem. But if you do bring something, please, nothing packaged. And the goal is not to give them a challenge. Once no food was ever packaged, now people, if it's hard, just don't bother, just enjoy what I have for you. But if you get something, and people like struggle over this. People still come over. One guy came over and he said, all right, I bought you these 3 things of kale. And I also bought you a canvas bag so that you could not have to get new bags. I'm like, first of all, the kale had rubber bands around it, or maybe twist ties. So it was packaged. And then he bought me something completely contrary to the whole point.
Yeah. I was just thinking, yeah, I would find it difficult to buy something unless you just said that fruit. Then I'm like, oh yeah, but then just somehow bringing fruit, like, here you go, have a couple bananas, seems not like a gift.
Oh man, what would I want more? Because I mostly don't buy bananas because ever since I saw this movie Banana something or other, man, what it takes to make bananas. I mean, there are organic fair trade bananas, and the history of the banana companies. Chiquita, once I think it was called the United Fruit Company. Man, what the United States did to the Central America is unconscionable. And so if someone brings over banana, I feel a little funny about it.
Right.
But I will err on the side of figuring maybe they did look for something organic and fair trade, because I'm not going to get it because I'm only buying stuff at the farmer's market. So right now, yeah, here, someone was over the other day. So I got this avocado. I'm eating it. This is the second one. I had the other one yesterday. And I'm indulging. Like, I really enjoy this avocado because I wouldn't buy it. They don't grow around here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, yeah. So if someone brings over something that I wouldn't buy, I'll still eat it. So I will meet them partway. But if they bring over something packaged, I'm like, well, you can have it, but I'll pass on it.
Told you it ended a bit abruptly, but I hope you enjoyed that. Come on over to my Facebook page at TSL Untethered, This Sustainable Life Untethered, and let me know what you thought of the podcast. If you have any additional kind of insights about gifts or having a sustainable Christmas, and also let me know what you thought about having a bit of a different style format and if that's something that worked for you. Yeah, I'd love to find out your feedback. As always, please like, subscribe, leave me a review, do all those things. If you enjoy the podcast, let me know if you enjoy it, if there's anything in particular that you'd like me to cover. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a wonderful New Year. I hope you have a lovely festive break with your loved ones and that you stay safe and happy, and I can't wait to see you soon and get more conversations about sustainability, about the mind, about the body, about nature in 2021. I'm so excited for 2021. I think it's going to be an amazing year. Thank you for listening, and I will see you again soon.